as a Muslim, is it okay to have non-Muslim friends?
So as a Muslim, is it okay to have non-Muslim friends? So first things first, excellent question, because this is something that all of us wrestle with. When you're living in a non-Muslim society, this is a question that's going to come up. And why does it come up? Because in Quran, there's certain verses that mention things like, لا يتخذ المؤمنون الكافرين أولياء من دون المؤمنين. Let not believers take disbelievers as friends over believers. So now that confuses a person, like, wait, Muslims shouldn't take non-Muslims as friends. So a few things. First of all, how do you say friend in Arabic? Any of you? Rafeeq is one, good. Sadeeq, good, that's another one. So already you guys gave me two, and neither of those terms are used in this verse. Arabic is very interesting. I'm going to go to a quick 1 minute tangent, okay? You need to understand this to really help us get through this. How do you say house in Arabic? Bait. You don't say dar? Can dar mean home? Yes, it can. Can maskan mean home? Yes. Maskan also means home. So what does bait mean? Bait comes from the root word of bata, to spend the night. So when you say bait, it refers to house, but specifically a place you spend the night. Dar yaduru, a place that you go back and forth from. You leave, go to work, come back. You go work out, come back. You go hang out with friends, you come back. Maskan is a place of sakina, a place you live that has tranquility. All three mean house, but all of them have different meanings. So if someone has a lot of fights in the house, they'll never refer to their home as maskan. They'll probably just refer to it as like a bait. I just spend the night over there. So Arabic is very specific, the way it uses a word, in Quran in particular, to highlight a specific meaning. So in this verse, Allah uses a specific term for friends, awliyaa. Okay? So in our deen, we have different levels of friendship. You have muwalat, you have musawat, you have mudarat. Muwalat, that's what's not permissible. Muwalat, that refers to someone being your wali. Allahu waliyul ladina amanu. Allah is the wali, the close friend of the believer, protecting friend of the believer. Someone can only be your wali if you and that person, everything inside is congruent with one another. You agree with it. So for example, I believe in one Lord, you believe in one Lord. I believe his religion he prefers is Islam, you believe the religion he prefers is Islam. I believe the prophet that he sent is the final prophet Muhammad SAW, and you believe the same thing, and our ideals, everything align. It has to be a believer, because the most intimate thoughts of your heart we share completely, and that's religion. Then you go to musawat and mudarat. Musawat, they're people you interact with, you might hang out with, you might play basketball with, you might work out with, they might be classmates at school. That's cool, it's completely permissible. Mudarat, people you're cordial with, you might see them outside and help them out, your neighbors moving their trash bin, you help them out, etc. That's fine. In fact, the Prophet ﷺ did all of that. When his neighbors needed assistance, he went and aided them on many occasions. When his neighbors wanted to talk, he sat with them and spoke. And the Prophet ﷺ was not just surrounded by Muslims, he was surrounded by non-Muslims as well. And so we see an example of the Prophet ﷺ himself, that he interacted with non-Muslims in a way that we would call friends today. Okay? So that's number one. Any questions about that? So you see the difference, right? Only those who have the most intimate beliefs that we share, those are awliyaa. That's what the Quran says we can't do. Okay? You want to chime in? Anything?
And I think it's so important and to keep in mind regarding when we have friends, right, is take away any other aspect. Just take away, when you look at school, right, we have school and you have friends. You have friends who you just like, hey, what's going on? How you been? Then you have some other schools who are more close to, who know your personal information, you know, what's going on, your thoughts. Then you might have some friends who just maybe play sports with, right? And all of these individuals, so going to school, Muslim, non-Muslim, doesn't matter. All of us are going to talk to someone. All of us are going to have play sports with anyone. Nothing wrong in the deen of playing sports with. Going to studying with, no problem. When the idea is that when we talk about friends and saying if there is a moral issue, right, or there is a certain thing that all of us, we all went to school here, you know, and that question of, hey, let's participate in this specific act. Muslim, even non-Muslim, it doesn't even matter who it is. If that friend is a person that can advise you to do something that will go against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a concern.
Yeah.
Right? And it's something that we have to kind of keep ourselves in mind, is that anyone, so if Muslim or non-Muslim, that takes away or gives advice that would go against Allah's commandments, right? Again, does that mean everything basketball doesn't have to worry about Allah's commandments? It might be here in rules like, well, after the game, let's go get a drink, or let's go smoke some weed. Okay, that's a problem, right? So you have to kind of keep that specific kind of things in mind, is that regarding friends, is just like his brother Saad is going to break it down a little bit more, but the idea of what kind of friends, but looking at it from a context of how we might deal with it is, what is friends, right? And at what level of friendships are they? And then how do they help you in your daily life? And especially when it comes to moral compass or faith or spirituality, those are ones that we have to be considered. And I would even say, don't even worry about non-Muslims, even Muslims,
even Muslims,
where you could be like, buddy, and they're the most, like, hey, let's just do this. Don't worry, I'll cover you, right? So that could be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, the Prophet ﷺ, so many places in Hadith we see like a person's on the religion or way of his friend, Khalil, like someone they mix closely with. So be careful with whom you're going to be friends with, or a person will be raised up in the day of judgment with their friend. All that is not a warning against non-Muslim. That's a warning against any friend, Muslim, non-Muslim alike. Abu Talib, was he Muslim? No. Were the Muslims friends with him? Yeah. Yes. Don't you think Abu Bakr loved having him around? Radiallahu anhu. Abu Bakr loved having him around because no one protected the Prophet ﷺ the way Abu Talib did. They weren't related. You could say, the Prophet, that was his uncle. But Abu Bakr, that wasn't his uncle. That was a friend. Someone who helped them out. And so you will find this idea of friendship within Islam to be acceptable, so long as Mr. Q was mentioning, it doesn't go so much into that now you're mixing your intimate, personal beliefs and your moral compass is now getting thrown off by it.